Hi, good afternoon, wherever you may be. My name is Neil, and this is
Lee.
And we'll be discussing sports for the week of
February 12th, 2011.
Specifically, what's coming up in the next 2 weeks. The NBA All-Star Weekend featured in the Staples Center, home of the Lakers and the... What was the other team name? I don't know, they just lost a game.
Yeah,
Let's just go, they're
anyway,
the Clippers.
Yeah.
Anyways, my question for you, does it even matter that the NBA is having an All-Star game?
I think it matters, and I had a brief reminder because I work in downtown, and it's about a mile and a half north of Staples Center, and I took a stroll and I was getting lunch, and I noticed there's these big banners saying NBA All-Star Weekend, right here, and I think it's good for the city, first of all. I think it's good for just kind of the surrounding area around Staples. If you've never been to LA, actually, that area around Staples Center is starting to gentrify a little bit, and it's good for the economy. It's good for the local economy, and I think that's good. As an NBA fan, I'm not sure that it does. I'm not sure that it matters as much anymore. I wish maybe that we would make more out of that whole Eastern Conference versus Western Conference thing. I wish there was a little bit of, I'm not saying like they should go out and try to kill each other, but I think that they should have some form of competition, something to play for, so that Shaq doesn't dribble it up to the top of the key through his legs and then just launches the jumper. When I see that, it kind of takes away from, is this game supposed to be taken seriously? Is this game, is there anything on the line? And really, there isn't for the NBA All-Star Game. So, except for a bunch of egos. So.
Well, you also get a nice trophy from Sprite or whatever the local advertisement is. But in reality, if you really make the NBA All-Star Game more than what it is, which is it's an exhibition game of All-Stars, as the fans voted, and even though Yao Ming has even touched the floor this year, I think he played 12 minutes a game. What was the limitation that Houston said that he would have to miss every other game?
Yeah.
Then his leg was messed up, so he can't even get. He was the leading vote getter for centers.
And you know what? And you know why that is. You know why that is. There's just gajillions of Chinese fans.
Did you vote for? Would you, as an Asian, would you vote for Yao Ming?
I'm saying like actual Chinese fans, like back over in the country. As an Asian guy, no, I don't think it's based on race. And you have to understand, I'm a second generation Asian, so we have differences there. But yeah, no, it should be based on who deserved it, and who do you think deserved the center spot this year?
Honestly, based on just pure numbers, I think it should have been Paul Gasol.
Paul
Gasol, even though he's not a true center, but besides Dwight Howard, who really is a good All-Star worthy center.
Yeah.
I mean, you go with Duncan, but...
You could go with Duncan, but Duncan is also a power forward, so you kind of make the same argument. I think Paul Gasol is, he's a good fit. So
this is the Laker bias they're talking. I mean, you could make the argument for Tim Duncan or Gasol. I mean, who is right now? Who's the better team? I mean, you go by whoever's the better record, because it's regular season.
Not necessarily. I mean, well, do you think Kevin Love deserved an All-Star vote, or All-Star, like a start, or at least a reserve?
I don't think he deserved to start. I believe he did get a reserve spot.
Okay. Do you think that's where he belongs?
As a reserve, yes, considering that it's really hard to say a 2020 guy. I mean, that's pretty much we're looking at. How many 2020 games can he have? Not did he have a 2020 game?
Yeah.
How many does he have? And so it's just amazing when you look at who is going to get snubbed and who got in. I mean, that's always going to be an issue. But it's not just about the game on Sunday. Do you even know what's going on Saturday?
I mean, yeah, they got the regional teams with the shooting games with the retired player and the current pro player and a WNBA player. Personally, I think it's ridiculous. I think this is all becoming a little bit too much, out of control. I would like to keep it at just the slam dunk contest, the three-point shootout, and the game, and the rookie sophomore challenge. And the rookie sophomore challenge I think was a good addition. You got a lot of players who are still hungry and they're trying to prove themselves out in the field, and I think that's a good game, but. Just keep it simple.
That's the thing, that even though you have these rookies and sophomores, the reason why that game is exciting is because they want to score, they want to win, but the sophomores have that little chip, like, we can't lose these rookies.
Yeah.
And the rookies have that edge, they want to win, because they want to say, wow, we were the only, Evans was one of the few led the rookie team to actually beat the sophomores. And it's going to be interesting because Blake Griffin's playing on the rookie team, even though his class is the sophomores.
Okay. Yeah, and you know what? Inherently, there's a spirit of competition in there. You know, it just comes packaged with it. But you look at the NBA All-Star Game, and I see a bunch of guys that really just, you know, they're there, they want to have a good time, and no doubt LA is a great place to do that. And you know, if you're looking at this and you're thinking about coming to All-Star Weekend, it's 80 degrees outside right now, and it's February, so you know, we're living it right here. So the way I see it is, it's good. It's good to enjoy. It's good to kind of relax. But I really wish the game meant something. I really wish, you know, you think of, and I'm going to go out to other sports like football. You have like the axe that goes between Stanford and Cal. It's just something symbolic, you know, that would go between East Coast and West Coast. And I know we're kind of long removed from those days, but I can see where.
Right. It seems like every sport seems to try to make the All-Star Game more meaningful somehow.
Yeah.
Major League Baseball, winner gets home field advantage.
I think that's the wrong way to go about it, by the way. You know, you shouldn't affect what happens in the regular season. You shouldn't change that over one game between a bunch of guys, a bunch of overpaid athletes. You know, that's ridiculous. And, yeah, home field advantage should not be touched, especially in the NBA's case where it matters so much. So.
And then in NHL, do you know what they did? They used to have East and West. But to matter more, they made it North America versus the world.
Okay.
And a lot of other sports have, like I believe MLS does North America versus the world. And so you have a lot of spin-offs of that. But what follows the All-Star Game is the NBA trade deadline.
Okay.
What do you see Dwight Howard getting traded anytime soon?
No, I don't. You know, there's this prevailing theory that he's coming to the Lakers, that people are thinking that he wants to come to LA, and I think he would be an awesome fit. I think he'd be great. I think the Lakers would take over the league, but I mean, let's not make any bones about it.
Okay, that's 2012, 2013.
We're talking about
no idea what's going to happen.
But right now, we got this guy in Denver. You might have heard of him, Carmelo Anthony, and they're talking about two options, either New York or LA. It seems like it's pretty much set in stone, and I don't even think LA is even in the running. But what's your opinion on that?
My opinion is that he goes to the Knicks. I mean,
Okay.
The reason why he's going to go to the Lakers, or he won't go to the Lakers, is they've just spun up 2 consecutive losses on this block that commentators have been commenting that this is the test of them. They're 2-0. They got one on Orlando tomorrow night. They beat Boston on the second back-to-back. They beat New York, and who was playing good minutes, plus 24 minutes? Andrew Bynum. You have length. You don't trade that. But for the Knicks, who just lost to the Lakers, they're clearly not in the same class. They have the players that they want to have right now. I mean, who they can. No one's really big injuries. Amari's not down. Raymond Felton's not down. But they're a 500 team. They need to do something to stir it up.
And my personal theory is that Carmelo should stay in Denver. And
Do you think he can win there?
I don't think he's going to win there, but looking at Carmelo and the way he's acted in the past and the way he performs in the playoffs, I'm not saying he's a bad playoff performer. He's one of the most clutch players in this game. But I don't think Carmelo has the idea of, oh, I'm going to go win a bunch of rings. I feel like he has some personal goals that have not been realized yet. So, and just financially speaking, if this whole collective bargaining agreement thing blows up in everybody's face, and we're talking like severely limited contracts with a more intense salary cap, I mean, Carmelo would do best to just stay in Denver and sign the contract. 3 years, $65 million. You know,
because even if you say the 3 years, $65 million, that's a great number. He's going to be his player option. He would pick up because an extension of it. He's going to be making $18 million next year. I mean, it's a contract. So regardless, when the NBA starts again, he'll be getting paid $18 million for that year. The question is, though, would you, if you're Carmelo, if you're on that team, you don't have any control over where you get traded. You can still sign the extension with Denver, and it'll be a extend and trade. And you could do that to either the Knicks or the Lakers, so you can still get the 3-year, $65 million extension. It's just that if you get traded to some place like the Rockets, you're just going to be rented.
Okay, yeah, that's a good point. And this is all in the interest of Denver getting something out of it instead of, say, him leaving during free agency.
Which is possibly another option.
But, you know, with the way that the landscape is looking right now, with the collective bargaining agreement, I don't think it would be a wise decision for him to leave right now. I think it would be, or to leave in free agency, I think it would be better for him to either sign and trade or be traded now and try to sign an extension with that team as soon as possible. So either way, he's getting paid the same money, right? It's just if he leaves in free agency, there's no guarantee that the money's going to be there. So I think he's looking for what? Is he entitled to something longer term than 3 years?
I believe that's the max extension he can get at the time. That's the number everyone's throwing out.
Okay.
Because I believe you can go. I'm not exactly sure the correct language, but we'll see what happens with Carmelo and where he goes in the next 2 weeks. Do you see him getting traded at the buzzer, or do you think that Denver's going to do something if they feel that? Because he quote unquote said, if the trades do not go through, I'd be open to the possibility of re-signing.
Well, he said he would take a hard look, and really, if Carmelo was acting in Carmelo's interest, you wouldn't say something like that, because you need to leverage as much power on your side as possible. You need to kind of leave that door open so that Denver is willing to kind of meet your demands. But Carmelo's looking at it, on a full scale, financially. He's thinking ahead and seeing where he's going to end up exactly. I think the best decision for him would be to just hurry up and sign the extension. You can get traded wherever you want, and for Denver to get something out of it, it's harder to get something out of an already signed Anthony as opposed to, he might just kind of stick around, Anthony, or he's willing to sign an extension with this team but not with that team. It's a lot of headache going on. So the way I see it is he needs to hurry up and re-sign, or Denver, they need to get something for him, because there is still that chance that Carmelo doesn't sign. But Carmelo's in a difficult position because we don't know how that collective bargaining agreement is going to
So let's say he does go to the Knicks and they get something from him.
Okay.
And you're looking at a package of a Wilson Chandler, a restricted free agent, Corey Brewer, Minnesota's first-round pick for Carmelo Anthony right now.
Okay.
Do you flip the switch on that deal?
No, I don't.
Or you take the risk of losing him?
I wouldn't take the risk of losing him. I would try to restructure that deal, that package to include either Gallinari, right, or at least one big ticket player, because Denver needs to tell their fans that they're doing their best to make sure Denver is being taken care of. Not Carmelo Anthony. Denver is being taken care of. Okay. And that's why Denver fans will boo Carmelo Anthony. If they feel like he's not doing a good enough job, or if they feel like his loyalty is wavering, or he's thinking about Carmelo before Denver, of course the fans are going to waffle on him. So, it all boils down to, at the deadline, I really think Denver's going to try to move him before the deadline in order to get something. Not sure about that Minnesota first-round pick and Wilson Chandler, and that's...
Anthony Randolph, he's the one who's going to Minnesota.
Okay.
But we'll see what happens. The end. Thinks. Well, you think he's going to get traded?
He's getting traded.
He's getting traded. I think he's going to the Knicks. I think we'll see him playing in the Madison Square Garden for the next. Who knows when the NBA will start again? Due to an impending lockout. Due to the CBA. Now, I've been doing some research about the whole concept of a franchise player. So for those people who aren't aware of it, a team can put a franchise tag on any player, whether it be a pending free agent who has 2 years left or an immediate free agent. So say if the situation with Carmelo Anthony was about to take effect, they can put the franchise tag on Carmelo, and they would have exclusive negotiating rights with him. If they can't come up with a deal, then he would take the average of the top 5 salaries at his position. So he's still getting paid $15 million, but he has no ability to leave once they slap that franchise tag on it. That's one of the issues. That's why Denver, once the CBA is over, they just slap the Carmelo franchise tag on him, and he can't leave.
Okay, and is that something you want to do? Is that something you really want to do?
Personally, I love the way baseball has it structured.
Okay.
I mean, I think that's one of the ways the league can remain profitable.
Mm-hmm.
But do you want the league to be? Do you like dynasties in your league, or do you like competitiveness? because if you look at the NFL, it's a competitive league. But if you look
True.
at baseball, you know who's going to be there every single year.
Yeah.
You know who are the big threats. And occasionally you have a team like Tampa Bay will attribute that to Oklahoma City coming in, but you know it's coming down to the New York Yankees, or in the case of the Lakers, because they're apparently the empire in basketball, versus a team like the Boston Celtics. Which one do you think is better for the league?
And, that's really... I don't think it's as good for the league unless we restructure the way that, big markets and small markets are kind of handled. Baseball works because the big markets, well, it's not as competitive, but the owners of the smaller market teams are profiting because that luxury tax is redistributed to the smaller teams. We don't have anything like that in the NBA. So right now, that needs to be hashed out. As far as a lockout, I think we might have one. What's your opinion on that? Because I feel like we're headed for a lockout.
Dumb, but the NBA is the only league where your contract is worth more than your playing ability. And you have Tracy McGrady got traded, and it was valued more for his expiring contract because of salary cap rules.
Mm-hmm.
And I prefer there would be no salary cap. Because then but you would have no guaranteed contracts either. I think that would be fair to both the owners and the players. Because guess what? Kobe Bryant will get $50 million a year. Why? Because he's worth $50 million. But say if he gets like a player like Boris Diaw, a player like Michael Redd, who's getting paid $18 million a year, it will get cut because he played 2 games this year. And so yeah, you can sign for that large amount of money. You can sign players to whatever you want, but players have to understand that owners can't. You have to be able to be worth your contract.
That's true, and that's where it's not measuring up. You have the Michael Redds and the Gilbert Arenases, and that's the big issue with owners. So, which side are you on? What do you think? Do you think it's a bifurcated issue in that sense, where it's the players want? Do you think the players want the current structure of the contracts right now?
I think they're happy with the distribution of wealth. I think they've seen that they've gotten more money, they've gotten more benefits, but we'll have to see where this goes in the offseason. I think I'm always for the unions because I think right now the NBA is operating poorly. You have record numbers of people watching basketball across the globe. Why don't you make more money? Why do you have so many owners in debt?
That's true. All right, well, let's wrap it up for this week.
Okay, so if you guys have any comments, this will be posted this was on YouTube, so feel free to say, wow, you guys are idiots, you guys are going to talk about, we'll comment on the next one. But thank you much for tuning in, and until next week, I'm Neil.
I'm Yuno.
And thanks for listening.